Hey guys, what's up? This is Runner for here. This is going to be a video about the 2022 Shimano ALDEBARAN BFS, and it's going to be a teardown video. So this is going to be a new experience for me because I've never actually filmed anything like this before. So please bear with me as I go through, all of the growing pains associated. The lighting may not be the best, but it's going to be good enough for what I'm trying to do here today. So you guys have probably all seen teardown videos of this reel. I actually picked up this particular reel. This is the HG model from a YouTuber named Wan Kenobi. He is another BFS YouTuber, and for whatever reason he wanted to get rid of his when I was looking for one. Digitaco was out of stock, and so things just kind of worked. Everything fell into place. But anyways, let's just get into it, I guess. So you guys have probably all seen what the end cap looks like, and let me just show you really quickly. This is a new FTB system from what I understand. They're using a tri-lobe screw to keep those in. I have actually taken off this plate, and I advise, if you guys are not really good with these small parts, to not do that, because it just kind of falls apart on you. Like the brake shoes just want to fall out of place. Luckily, I was able to get everything back in. I will say that the bearings that Shimano uses are freaking amazing. They have these O-rings in a groove around them, and I don't know what kind of bearings they are, but they are quieter than the microceramic bearings that you see on AliExpress for sale, and they just spin for a lot longer. Anyways, you can also see that there's a lot of fibers in this plastic end plate, and you can see the metal ring that goes around, and you can see how far in the braking system goes into the end plate so that it doesn't intrude on the actual spool rotation. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to take out the spool, and here it is. This is the they call it the MGL spool. It is weird that's not ported as much as, say, as like the Dark Wolf Ultra. Underneath all of this, you actually can see it there. There's a ton of porting on this spool to make it really, really light. Even still, this spool is very, very light. But yeah, the same deal. They've got the little O-ring there. On this bearing right here, it does also have an O-ring. I did want to try to take this bearing off, but when I tried to use the spool pin remover tool that I have, it just felt like it was going to bend the outer circumference of this spool, so it was just I didn't have it in me to do it. Anyways, so here's the spool, and that's what it looks like, and you've probably already seen that. I'll set that aside right there. And so then we have the reel itself, and if you listen, that is so smooth. And if you compare that to, say, the Dark Wolf Ultra, and this is even with worm gear bearings, and I haven't actually upgraded any of the bearings on the internals of this, but you can hear that just how non-uniform this one sounds. And I'll do another teardown of this reel, and maybe at some point we can compare the two together. But today this is it's going to be a video about this, and it's most likely going to be a long video at that, depending on how fast I can actually get through the teardown. I have torn this particular reel down once, so I can seem like I know what I'm actually doing, but you guys are doing this with me, so if I mess up, then I mess up, and hopefully I'll be able to get everything back to normal. Let me start by saying that I am not an expert by any means. I'm just a guy who likes to take things apart and put them back together, and hopefully, when I do put it back together, it'll actually go back and work as intended, as the manufacturer put it together. But anyways, so that being said, let's go ahead and get started with this. So the first thing to do, and I'm going to clear some of this aside, actually. So we'll set this aside here. I'm going to go ahead and take off this screw right here, and take off this little end cap. And I apologize if things get out of focus, because this is my first time doing this, and bear with me. I don't have my handy dandy nut remover. But I got it here, and because it's a left-hand model, you know, you got to go counterclockwise to get this nut off. I am most likely going to stop the video after I disassemble everything, because I don't think you guys want to see me put this reel back together. So here's the first interesting part. So this is going to be the drag star, and there's actually a clicker underneath this little plastic piece here. And so if you see this right here has little tiny indents, and I don't know if you guys can see that, little indents in it. And those indents work together with this little tiny ball right there, which I'm assuming there's a spring underneath, and that'll give you that clicking, that nice clicking sound when you use your drag star. This is a spring, and then we've got the first nut, and let's see if this will actually work for me. Don't actually recall. I think I had to put the spool back in and kind of use that to hold. Of course, everything is left-hand thread, so it's all backwards. You know, if you guys don't want to listen to me talking, feel free to mute and just kind of watch everything as I do this. Maybe I'll overlay a little bit of music or something, just so that I don't bore you to death with my talking. But yeah, so this is very important. There's only one of these kind of curved washers. Again, I don't really know, you know, the terms for everything. And so there's only one of these guys. It does have like a curve to it. And so if you look right there, I don't know if you can see. Anyways, there's that. And then there's this very, very thin washer that goes on top of the bearing. And right there. And so next part, we're going to go ahead and start taking out the screws that hold in this end cap. And so I'm going to start with this first one here. And the screws are different sizes, so you probably want to either, this one's got a little bit of thread locker on it, so you can kind of tell that it's going to go onto this top one. And so I'll set that aside. And then there are these 1, 2, 3, and 4 screws here. And so I'm actually not going to do a complete teardown of this reel today. I just don't have it in me to take apart, you know, like the worm gear, yeah, the front portion of the reel. I will do a video for this one because I want to show people how to actually get those 2 extra worm gear bearings in there that I was talking about in one of my other videos, the one that has all the mods that I've done to the Dark Wolf Ultra. Concerning the Dark Wolf Ultra, I think it's still a really, really great reel, even though the newer versions are coming with the fixed spools and they're not, I'm sorry, the fixed brakes, they're not dynamic. But yeah, you can definitely, you know, do the mod to change them back to a dynamic brake system. But anyways, so once you've done that, you can go ahead and take off the end plate. Be very careful. And so then there's this anti-reverse clutch sleeve in here that you can kind of either push out, or if you can get some purchase on it, then you can pull it out, and that kind of makes it easier for when you are going to reassemble everything. So there's that. I'll go ahead and set that aside. All right, so now we're into the meat and potatoes of the reel. So check this out. You see all these teeth around the main gear, and this main gear works with this, I believe it's called a pinion, and it is just so buttery smooth compared to any other reel that I've done a teardown of. But before we get to that, there's the drag clicker on the reel, which is in 2 pieces, and that's gonna be here. So here are the 2 pieces. If you turn them over, it's kind of got these ribbings, and that works together with this ball and spring to give you that wonderful sound. And so we're going to go ahead and set those two aside. And then you've got, it looks like a drag washer, carbon. And let's go ahead and take this off and check that out. Now, isn't that beautiful? I mean, aluminum, it's super light. I don't have a scale handy and I don't want to take that ball off if I don't have to. But I mean, compared to a brass gear, it's just very, very lightweight. And there's that wonderful porting there. Yeah, Shimano, well done. Anyways, so getting on to the rest of the reel, we have, you know, I'm not really sure what this is called. If somebody out there knows what the term is, by all means, please tell me what this is. It's another piece to tear down. And then there's this as well. I don't know the term for this one either. Again, I'm not an expert by any means when it comes down to tearing down reels and, you know, evaluating reels. I'm just, I just know what I see based on other reels that I've torn down on my own personal experience. And I will say though that the build quality, the fit and finish of this reel is night and day compared to this one. This is a good reel for $70, 75 and some change, but it is night and day compared to this. I mean, there are some materials that I kind of wish were a little bit better, and I kind of wish that Shimano had given us, you know, like kind of a nicer button here. It's just like a cheap plastic, it feels like, and cheap chrome. But, you know, for all that being said, when you click it, it does have like a really positive click, and there's no slop in there at all. There's no play. When you put all these pieces back together, the end plates, they just fit way, way better. I mean, if you compare it to, like, say this one, you can see where, like, right here, the corners just don't match up very closely, and there's like a little bit of an extra gap compared to, you know, down here. I mean, I have taken this reel apart, so it's not going to be like perfect from factory, but I mean, oops, if you look at say the button here, there's like a gap there, and the plastic is just cheaper. There's a little bit of play there. When you push it down, it doesn't feel as nice and solid compared to, you know, this reel right here. But yeah, that's basically the meat and potatoes of the 2022 Shimano ALDEBARAN BFS. Feel free to go ahead and stop the video here if you want, and if not, then I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.